Hello everyone, welcome back to the Drivers Room. We're in the Sunday League again today, Season 1, Round 1, Tier 1 of the 2022 season. And looking to kick things off at Tsukuba, the WRX Isle of Man time trial attack car. So in pole position today we have Q8 Motorsport, a new face for 2022. Been told in good faith that this guy is incredibly quick, and he's lived up to that straight away by nabbing pole position in this season opener. Second place today is MS2 Fast Few, following on from his recent Drivers Room Awards where he picked up the most improved driver, definitely living up to that, sticking it in second place for the season opener. Third on the grid today is Flapjack. He is our reigning DRSL champion after an outstanding finish to his campaign last time around, finds himself in third. Qualifying fourth today is Gary. He's our reigning annual DRSL champion, having notched up 3 season wins over the course of last year. Competition in Tier 1 has improved again though, and finds himself starting in fourth today. Fifth place on the grid today is Cartman. He's another DRSL champion, having stormed to victory in his debut in Season 4 in 2021. He rounds out the top 5 in qualifying today. Sixth place on the grid today is Lionessi, another quality driver on the grid. 31 T1 races, has 24 top 5s and 14 podiums, more than capable of mixing it at the front of the grid. And just had to compose myself after taking a quick look at this livery. The Gary Special. Nice work. Seventh on the grid today is Mickey. From what I can tell, I think he joined the Sunday League at the final season of 2021, establishing himself really well and earning the Tier 1 spot again for the 2022 seasons. Good quality today, starting from 7th. Qualifying 8th today is GTO. He is our reigning Tier 2 champion. GTO had a fantastic season last time around, never leaving the podium across all 8 races that he raced in. See how he gets on in Tier 1 today. Qualifying 9th today is myself, DJ Rice. Still looking for my first win in Tier 1 after 83 races. Spoiler alert, pretty sure it won't be happening today. Qualifying in 10th today is Sir Bottlejob. I think this is his first full Sunday League season for Bottle, and would also like to thank him for stepping up to host the lobbies for us. So yeah, rounding up the top 10 today. Qualifying 11th today is Mr. Sean, another quality driver who has completed 57 races at the very top level of the Sunday League. Finds himself just outside the top 10 today. Starting in 12th is John William Egan, again another top driver. Struggled a bit with quality today, but there's not much separating the drivers over this very short lap of Tsukuba. See how he gets on from 12th. 13th place on the grid today is JC. Fantastic season for JC last time out in Tier 2, picking up 3 wins and finishing third overall, earning himself promotion to Tier 1 this season. Got a lot to do starting from 13th though. And rounding off the grid today in 14th place is Panthro, a driver formerly known as Murkoff. Being promoted alongside JC and GTO, Panthro finished second in the final season of Tier 2 last year, and only 8 points off of the championship. Again, a lot to do starting from the back today. We'll see how he gets on. Right, so here we are then, about to get underway for the season opener of the Drivers Room Sunday League Tier 1 at Tsukuba. And Q8 Motorsport on pole as we are off and underway. It looks like Q8 has had a very good start, and just looking at the graphic there, it looks like Sir Bottlejob has made up a couple of places leading into T1. There's a few cars looking to go side by side, and it looks like a little bit of smoke in the background. That's myself, and I think JC have had a bit of a coming together in turn 1, but up at the front Q8 has done enough to hold on to the lead. Flapjack in second. So Flapjack making a place up at the start. MS2 Fast Few down to third. Gary up into fourth, but still in fourth, having started fourth. But Cartman Reviser does take the inside and moves himself up a place. Gary run really wide out of the final hairpin there. Loses a couple of places to Lionessi in that supreme livery. crumbles his way past the German. It's Gary in 6th now, recovering. Mr. Sean in 7th, GTO in 8th, Bottle Job in 9th, Mickey in 10th, and for 11th, William Egan in 12th, myself in 13th. Yeah, so it looks like we lost JC from the pack, and myself at the back just recovering now. Yeah, Q8 Motorsport, as I said, on the grid, one of the newer faces for this year. Hopefully he sticks around. Obviously he does have some pace. He's reigning DRSL champion Flapjack. Tries to chase him down. MS2 Fast U settling down in 3rd now. Nessie still in 5th. Mr. Sean in 6th. Gary down to 7th now. Gary having a bit of a nightmare. He goes in 2 laps. Losing 3 places altogether. GTO in 8th. Did qualify 8th. She's going well. Mickey in 9th. Mickey started in 7th, so he has lost a couple of places. Back into 10th. John William Egan 12th, myself in 13th, just closing the gap up to the cars in front. Q8 doing a good job out in front at the moment, and interesting to see how the strategies play out, as these cars are very thirsty. As you can see, almost touching 3 quarters of a tank, so 1/4 of a tank of fuel being used already. We do have a little bit of stability in the grid now in the lineup, but Flappy under pressure from MS2 Fast U coming up to the final corner. I don't think he's close enough. There's not really a corner you can make an overtake on. Much better following closely and trying to move into turn 1. Don't think he is close enough. Takes a little bit of a look on the inside, but no, Flapjack doing enough to hold in the 2nd place for now. So Gary putting Mr. Sean under a little bit of pressure as well. Obviously Gary does have a fair bit of pace, to say the least. Find himself in a little bit of trouble at the moment. Obviously this track being very, very small. Q8 really stretching his legs out in the front now as he's built up a really good gap to Flapjack in 2nd. I think has lost a little bit of time, maybe defending against MS2 Fast U, and Cartman will rise up also up in this fight now as well. And it does look like Gary has got the move done on Mr. Sean earlier on lap 4, moves himself back up to 6. See Mr. Sean staying in tension. GTO and 8 still under pressure from Mickey in 9th, who really starting to find his feet now. A couple of 55 flat. Oh, as he runs, he just gets turn 1 a little bit wrong there. May have been looking for a move on GTO, but he's got that all wrong and finds himself recovering back in 12th place now, so 9th to 12th in 1 corner, as it looks like I've made up a couple of places up into 11th now, put in Panthro under a bit of pressure. So a little job up into 9th now. Again, Q8 Motorsports coming up to the final corner. And MS2 Fast View has got ahead of Flapjack. Let's take a look back at that. A little bit further back at the end of lap 4. It looks like MS2 Fast View has got the job done into turn 1, lap 5. Yeah, so couldn't quite do it on the last lap. Looks like he's closed the gap enough coming out of the final corner to get that move done into turn 1. So start at lap 5 now. We've got MS2 Fast View up into 2nd place, Flapjack in 3rd, Cartman Riser in 4th, Nessie in 5th, and it looks like Gary is going to close up on these guys in front as well. As I say, it's a small track, very, very difficult to get an overtake done cleanly, and there's only one real racing line throughout this. As soon as you start going side by side and battling other guys, you will lose time, and you start to see cars bunching up like they are now. Flapjack holding on to 3rd, Cartman 4th, Nessie in 5th, Gary in 6th position, in 7th, GTO in 8th. Panthro in 10th, still doing enough. Ooh, as I take a little bit, just trying to unsettle Panthro a little bit, and we'll see if we get this move done. Not close enough. Good exit from Panthro out of the final corner there. Should be more than enough to hold on to 10th place. Myself in 11th, Mickey recovering in 12th now after that slight off in turn 1, and John William Egan in 13th. And the lead of the race, Untouchable hasn't done a lap over 1 minute 54 yet. Most guys 155s, so he's called behind. Most really setting pace out in front at the moment. A little bit of a gap to Flapjack, because I'm not too sure if all these guys are going flat out. They may be conserving fuel in the slipstream of the cars in front, a little bit of lifting and coasting. Gary 55.3 from Gary that last lap, 54.9 from Nessie, so almost a second a lap quicker. He should be on the back of this bunch of cars very, very soon. Not a great deal of field spread. There's a lot of places to be made up in a short space of time. Lap 7. 54.5 from MS2 fast on that last lap, and as I say that, he runs wide. Oh, this is going to cost him a massive chunk of time. Lose all momentum coming out of that fast right-hander. Falls right back to 6th place, having run his second, and was lapping quicker than the leader. And just as I was saying that, he runs wide out of the final turn and loses 4 places. Recovering now in 6th, Gary up into 5th. Assuming these drivers having been promoted thanks to that mistake. It's Flapjack back up into 2nd, Carlton in 3rd, Nessie in 4th, Gary 5th, MS2 Fast Furious 6th, Mr. Shaw 7th, GTO 8th. Top GTO is closing the gap up to Mr. Shaw now as well. Solid mid 55s. From GTO, and looks like Mr. Sean just dipping into the 1 minute. Always a little bit untidy on the hairpin there. Could put him under pressure at the start of lap 9. Yeah, GTO just a little bit quicker than the cars in front at the moment. As Job 56.2 under pressure from Panfo was good, side by side into the final corner, and looks like he has got just about got the job done there. His bottle job just takes the wider line, and this could be 3 abreast at the turn 1. Myself diving up the inside of turn 1, taking advantage of Panfro and Sir Bottlejob duking it out, and it does look like I've made up a couple of places there. A cheeky move up into 9th. Panfro holding on to 10th, so Panfro does displace Bottlejob as well. A little bit wide there, those Bottle takes the inside again to reclaim that 10th place, and Panfro losing a bit of momentum through the hairpin, also losing out to Mickey, moving himself up to 11th. Panfro down to 12 there, did have a sniff of 9th place at the start of the lap, but the way things just unfolded, he has lost out a little bit to a few drivers and finds himself at the back of this little pack. This should be allowing John William Egan to start closing up on the guys in front. So 8 minutes now, as we look at Nessie and Cartman rubbing doors, trading paint. Let's come up to first lap 10 as they switch back from Cartman there. As they're not too sure who's going to come out on top here, but Nessie is in front for the moment. Should have a good line into the hairpin. See if Cartman takes a look into the hairpin. He just settles in behind for now. I'll say that as he sticks his nose up the inside again, and these two look to have a drag race into the final corner. Cartman just taking a sensible option there, sliding back behind Nessie as and side by side through the final corner on a good exit. Not lose too much time. We've got Gary in the pits, so interesting. I think Gary had a slight off somewhere actually, but he will rejoin the race at the back of the pack. Yeah, I've been told that Gary did have a slight off at the final corner, similar to his German compatriot MS2 Fast Few earlier in the race. So, well, the first man to pit, obviously fully committing to the 2 stopper today. As I say, I think it'll be a mix of 1 and 2 stop strategies. And it'll be interesting to see how that pans out as the race continues. MS2 Fast Fuel now putting pressure on Cartman, having recovered from an earlier mistake, and both of these guys diving into the pits on 10-minute marks. I think they are also committing to a 2-stopper. Really low fuel levels. But, Mr. Sean just managing the fuel and tyres as best he can. I think he will be pushing this to a 1-stop. Myself also just under a quarter of a tank left. So top guys still in the pits. Q8 Motorsport, Flapjack and Lionessy haven't stopped out of the front yet either. But, so Gary rejoining the race in 10th place, side by side with Cartman. So as Gary's come out of the pits, sorry, as Cartman's come out of the pits, Gary having pitted a lap earlier, it looks like he has got a little bit of an undercut done, as he has got track position over Cartman and Visor for the time being. Pretty sure both of these guys will be stopping again. We'll see how that pans out. MS2 Fast Fuel joining in 11th, GTO in 12th, John William Egan in 13th. Q8 Motorsport still out and leading the race. A little bit further back, we've had an incident. Mr. Sean, he's run wide out the final corner as well. So the final turn today, claiming a few drivers. See crossing the line there, 1:07, so losing 4 seconds on that lap, and allowing myself in 5th place to really close the gap. But yeah, had built up a really nice comfortable gap over myself and Mickey, who's also pushing on now after his early mistake. Mickey really low on fuel, so you really want to be trying to get to that 15-minute mark if you're pushing for a 1-stop today. It's looking like Mickey will be diving in the pits at the end of this lap and will be leaving himself a fair bit of fuel saving to do till the end if he's going to make this 1-stop work. So Bottle Job's still not pitted yet. Incredible tyre wear on that front left. Just dipping into the 57s now, and he's got a fast group of cars, all on fresh tyres, closing the gap behind. So Mickey does pit at the end of that lap, 0% fuel, and we'll just keep an eye on these lap times now, because Bottle does have enough fuel to get to the halfway point, I feel, but those tyres are going to really start costing him some time. 57.7 and 55.4, nearly 2.5 seconds quicker then Bottle Job is chasing pack behind, but as I say, it looks like Bottle will only have to make one more stop, and all 3 of these guys will also have to make another stop. So as things stand at the moment, Job doing a good job in 6th place. So yeah, in the pits, we'll follow this little fight for a bit as Cartman gets the move done on Gary, and Gary cuts back straight away to reclaim 7th place through that hairpin. And this fight does not help. Just sitting behind this group as well, and they are all right on top of Bottle Job now as they come out of the final corner on lap 14. Bottle Job running wide there. There's a good chance all 3 of these drivers will make it through. MS2 Fast Fuel just needs to be a little bit later on the brakes just to get ahead. And no offence to Bottle Job, but with that tyre wear, all 3 of these guys did and have got ahead of Bottle Job at turn 1. So this train will continue now. I feel they will pull a little bit of a gap to Bottle. He just needs to try and hang on to that slipstream and try and gain a little bit of time. But into the pits we have the race leader, Q8 Motorsport, and this will allow Flapjack into the lead as he does carry on for another lap. So Q8 Motorsport, Lionessy also into the pits. Neither of those drivers quite making it to the 15-minute mark, but myself and Sean also into the pits. So this will allow this pack to come through now. We'll see how this pans out in respects to Q8 Motorsport. And there he is as he rejoins the race just ahead of this pack. I think that will be vital. Vital for Q8 today, as he couldn't afford to really get in the mix with these guys behind. Q8 good and should be good until the end of the race now. Does have just over 15 minutes to go, so does have to manage his fuel a little bit. These guys are absolutely going for it now, as Flapjack also entering the pits. So Flapjack managing to get that Q8 Motorsport, and yes, Flapjack should be in the best shape at the end of the race as far as the one-stoppers go. But I think Q8 will comfortably retake the lead. Now, he did have a good few seconds to Flapjack behind. Yeah, does take the lead. Scary up to second, Cartman in third, MS2 Fast Fuel fourth, GTO in fifth, and Flapjack still in the pits, just coming out now in sixth place. But as I say, it's good to the end of the race now, and having stopped a lap later than all the other one-stoppers, fuel and tyres should be a little bit better to manage towards the end. So let's go to the top 5 now. Q8 Motorsport really pulled a little bit of a gap to Gary in second, as that tyre wear is starting to kick in now a little bit, I feel. Cartman requires E3, still running nose to tail. Third and fourth, and all this is going on. GTO is quietly getting on with it. It's low 55s. From GTO there, 55. Flapjack absolutely on it now. He's starting his first flying lap after pitting. I would have thought he'd be right to get on with this as soon as possible and put GTO under a bit of pressure. Second, third and fourth still holding stations, and yeah, you see Flapjack right up the gearbox of GTO already. Following that at the end of the straight, Gary's pulled a really good gap to second place car, giving himself a little bit of breathing room, and as I say that, he goes straight off the track and parks in front of a barrier, and yeah, the last corner of this lap claiming another victim by the looks of it. MS2 Fast Fuel, having made that mistake earlier in the race, has recovered well. Flappy getting the move done. Nope, GTO defending really well there into turn 1. Flapjack absolutely chomping at the bit to get past. But even with, he just got a sniff of the inside of that hairpin, and took full advantage, moves himself up into 4th place. Now, so, stout defending from GTO in what is now 5th place. But not a lot he can really do there, as Flapjack really looking to push on now, see if he can make any impression on the leaders. The 2 guys ahead of him both have to pit against MS2 Fast Fuel and Cartman Riser, who's running second and third at the moment, so we'll see how that pans out as the race goes on. So yeah, Flapjack in 4th, GTO in 5th, Nessie in 6th place, having made his final pit stop. Mickey in 7th, running well. Just looking at fuel though, Mickey does have to be careful. Race himself and Mr. Sean not that far behind. Looks like Mr. Sean is starting to build up a little bit of a gap to myself again. Just check these lap times as they come through. It's a 55.7 and 55.8 for himself. So yeah, Mr. Sean just starting to extend the gap a little bit. Bolt job in a solid 10th, bit of no man's land, clean air front and back. John William Egan up into 11th, so has displaced Panthro. That may well be down to strategies though. We'll see how that pans out between the two. There's only about 5 or 6 seconds between them at the moment. And we have MS2 Fast Fuel in the pit, so that's an interesting decision. I think he had enough fuel to go on for a few more laps. Maybe it felt might be just trying to find a little bit of clean air, and maybe we'll be able to get a bit of an undercut done on Cartman Riser. So yeah, I'm sure he's hoping to come out in some clean air. As we just watch Mickey's line as he's through. Mickey just coming down straight now, and I think MS2 Fast Fuel just coming out the pits now, so does have that bit of clean air he needed. He has Mr. Sean behind, but I think if MS can get up to speed quick enough, he should be able to stay out of danger. Next man up the road for MS2 Fast Fuel is Mickey, lapping in the low 55 seconds at the moment. MS will close that gap up after a few laps. We're just hitting the 20-minute mark now, 2/3 of the way through this race. And we have GTO pitting from 4th place, so see how that feeds into things. So GTO pitting promotes Nessie up into 4th. This will promote Mickey up into 5th. Half a tank of fuel left for Mickey now with 10 minutes of the race left to go. MS2 Fast Few coming through as well. We'll see what he's done on his first flying lap. 53.7. Incredibly quick lap time there from MS2 Fast Few. You see he's already pulled the gap to Mr. Sean behind, and he's starting to close the gap up to Mickey in front. So we have Cartman last year. He's gone through another lap, but it does look like he is moving over to the pit, and we'll see now if MS2 Fast Few, he did have an outstanding flying lap. Now he is up the bumper of Mickey. Might be able to get this move done before the final corner though. I think he's going to claim the inside of this final corner just to maximise his chances as they both give each other just enough space, and MS2 Fast Few just yielding there. Didn't want to risk obviously running the guy on the outside right off track, but does get the move done into turn 1. So great driving there from MS2 Fast Few. Unfortunately, Cartman Riser rejoins it in 6th place, so I wonder if he took on a little bit more fuel there. Just check the fuel levels. Oh, MS2 Fast Few actually has more fuel than Cartman at this stage of the race, so that is interesting. Tyre wear will benefit Cartman a little bit, but good job from MS2 Fast Few. Himself up to 4th. So we've got Nessie in 3rd. Not sure if he has to pit again, as Flapjack only has a little bit more fuel, and I think he is good until the end. So that's complete through the grid again. It's Q8 Motorsport doing the business out in front. Steady 1 minute, steady 54. Keep saying 1 minute 54. It's a very short lap here. It's under a minute. 54 second laps. You can see the deltas on the right hand side, very consistent. Just under half a tank of fuel though, so yeah, Flapjack in the mid 55s really needs to bring those lap times down a little bit if he's going to put Q8 Motorsport under pressure. Is better on fuel until the end though, as Q8 might have to up the fuel mix a little bit to get that car to the end. Now Flappy in 2nd, Nessie in a solid 3rd in the awesome Jerry Limley. MS2 Fast Few in a comfortable 4th position at the moment. As Mickey coming under pressure from Cartman Riser now, as not a lot you can do there. Cartman out on fresh rubber, moves himself up into 5th place. Mickey doing a good job in what is now 6th. Again, has to be really careful with that fuel. Mr. Sean in 7th, still holding a comfortable gap over myself. Yeah, very similar lap times from the pair of us at the moment. GTO, having made his pit stop, is now in 9th place. Should be good. Should be good to go flat out until the end now. Just under 7 minutes of this race left to go. So Bottle Job still holding on to a very lonely 10th place. John William Egan in 11th and Panthro in 12th. Oh no, we have seen the overtake there, Cartman on Mickey earlier. Cartman's on a 55 flat, Cartman got a 54.6 from MS2 Fast Few. Car ahead at the moment. Reach touching 25-minute mark of this race now. We do have a fair bit of field spread. See Panthro getting a bit leery on the outside of that corner. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone is able to live this consistency out at front at the moment. Flapjack does have the pace, but has been in battles throughout this race. Holding on to 2nd quite comfortably at the moment. 56 flat from Flapjack that last lap. No 56 from Nessie, and a 54 second. MS2 Fast Few really does have some pace today. It is a shame he made that mistake earlier on in the race, otherwise Well, he'd be at least fighting Flapjack. Hopefully Roman finds himself in full. See if he can close down to third place Lionessi. Said just over a second quicker on that last lap. 6 laps left to go now. As you see just diving out of the way there. Carmen buys it in 50. I don't think Carmen really has an answer to the pace MS is setting out in front. Mickey really struggling with that front left now, and around an eighth of a tank left. You see the drivers around him, well over a quarter of a tank. There's Mr. Sean and myself still running in close proximity. Check these lap times again, because it looks like GTO's on the move from 9th place, and we'll be closing the gap up on myself and Sean up front. 56.5, 56.6 and 55.5. So GTO a second quicker on that last lap, but is running out of time to close the gap on the fight for 7th and 8th in front. I say a fight, it's just me sitting a second or two behind Mr. Sean like I have been most of this race. Doing a slightly better job on the tyres though, which is a foreign concept. Mr. Sean is one of our smoother drivers on the grid. I've seen him stretch things out a little bit further, those around him, but not quite getting on top. Oh, and Mickey has pitted from 6th place. So as I'm waffling on, I was a little bit worried about Mickey's fuel level. Just over 3 minutes of the race left. Mickey does have to pit for a splash and dash, and this has cost him massively. I think he has lost out to Sean, myself and GTO, and does rejoin in 9th. And did he not change his tyres as he goes straight off of turn 1? He must be absolutely kicking himself. So yeah, unlucky Mickey, good pace today, but just not quite making that fuel stretch as far as he would have liked. So we'll run through the grid again. I think we're all as was for the first few guys. Q8 Motorsport still out in front, 57.3 from Q8 Motorsport. So maybe, well, if you look at that fuel level now, maybe he's starting to hit fuel mix 6 just to get this car to the end. As Flapjack still good for fuel, can push the car a little bit more. So 57.3, Flapjack was second quicker on that last lap, but running out of laps now. Don't think he's going to be close enough. As MS too fast for you gets the move done on Lionessi. Let's take a quick look back. Yeah, just a little bit further back, end of lap 29. As you see, MS too fast all over the back of Lionessi. Again, just got to bide your time, have a good exit out of the final corner, and good run down to turn 1. Does look like Lionessi is taking the defensive line early on, but MS too fast you carrying a lot more speed around the outside. Should get this done. I say should get this done, and Lionessi takes the position back and then loses it again as MS too fast you had a better exit. So he would have had the inside of this hairpin anyway. So Messi trying to defend as best he can. Well, look at that tyre wear. Again, not much he could have done there. As MS too fast you moves up to 3rd place and the final podium spot, just like under 2 minutes of the race left to go. Lionessi down 4th. Cartman in 5th has closed the gap up a little bit. See if Cartman can actually close up to the gap to Nessie before the race is out. So, and myself and Mr. Sean, looks like I'm putting a little bit of pressure on Mr. Sean now. Come on, see what lap. This lap and one more, I believe. Should just about squeeze in. So that may well be me sizing up a move into turn 1 a little bit later on the brakes. So Sean doing enough around the outside of turn 1. We'll have the inside of this hairpin. We'll see what we can do to try and cut back. And all this going on, GTO has really closed the gap. So this is a three-way fight for 7th, 8th and 9th now. As have to come back to this, as we cannot afford to really miss the winner crossing the line, taking the checkered flag, which will be in a little while. So we'll go back to the fight for 6th, 7th and 8th, and that does look like I have just got myself ahead on the back straight before the final turn, and I can see Mr. Sean down to 7th now and has one more lap to hold on to 7th with a fast approaching GTO behind. Back to the leader of this race, who looks like he's coming around the final hairpin now. Flapjack has closed the gap a little bit at 58.1, so yeah, you can see the fuel mix has definitely gone up a little bit on Q8 Motorsports' car, as he's pretty much got no fuel. I think he's out of fuel. I think he's completely out of fuel, but Flapjack right on the start of the straight, just about doing enough to bring this car home, I feel. But Q8 Motorsport season opener 2022 DRSL takes the checkered flag. Congratulations, Flapjack, bringing it home in 2nd place. Just couldn't quite do enough to trouble the leader. MS2 fast view, good recovery back into 3rd place. Nessie holding on to 4th place in the end, Cartman in 5th, and looks like myself bringing it home in 6th. And looks like GTO has got ahead of Sean on that back straight as well to take 7th place, just ahead of Sean. Unlucky in 8th. Mickey also unlucky, just misjudging the fuel bit in 9th, and so bottom job rounding off the top 10. John William Egan in 11th and Pat Froome in 12th.